Everyone. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Build Mode. My name is John Nair. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Vendasta. And we've been running this series for a little bit here on helping people understand how to use AI and automations in their operations, and specifically giving lots of actionable tips around how to use it in the Vendasta platform. And I've had a lot of fun in the past few sessions where we've gone over a whole bunch of prompting basics and detailed information about the architecture. And if you want to find those sessions, you can. You can go back on to our YouTube channel, Vendasta Help and Updates. We've got all of those sessions available for you to watch there. And of course, this session here will be recorded for you to watch as well too. And if you have questions throughout, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A if you're watching live, or in the chat as well, and we can turn those into some questions. I'll try to leave some time for us to hear those at the end. But I'm going to get into today's presentation, and I'm really happy to be doing this session today on voice AI employee prompting. This is something that there's a lot of interest in, a lot of excitement about, but is really quite difficult for a number of people. And I'm really, really lucky that we have an opportunity to give a really practical example of how to do voice AI employee prompting in today's session. So on today's agenda, we're going to have a live demo of one of our partners. Thanks very much to Tim from Hidden Ninja Marketing, who's let me work with his voice AI receptionist. And we're going to look at some of the common problems that come from how we do our prompts and how to solve some of those problems. So we'll look at how to troubleshoot, and I'll talk about how to get the best customer responses from your voice AI as well too. And then we'll have a live example of what it looks like after the fact. And Tim's going to have a brand new AI voice receptionist to use with his business if he so chooses. So without further ado, let's start off with where we started out. Let me take one moment to pull up the recording. You'll see a bunch of examples of parts of the prompt to start. And I can share off at the end a little bit of what the whole prompt looks like. But I think it's more important to understand the general principles behind that. My apologies, 1 second for it to load here. Okay, I think we're in better shape here. Let's try now. So I am in the Hidden Ninja Marketing Business app, and I'll go to the Conversations tab, where I did a whole bunch of dutiful conversations back and forth. And let's have a listen to the first version of the conversation that we had here. All right.
Hi there. This is NinjaBot with Hidden Ninja Marketing. How can I help you today?
Hey, what do you guys do?
We help small businesses stay responsive 24/7 using AI tools that handle missed calls, booking, follow-ups, and messages automatically, so you get more appointments with less admin work. To make this helpful for you, I'll start with a couple quick questions. What kind of business do you run?
Glasses company.
You run a glasses company. Got it.
Okay.
What's the most frustrating part of keeping up with people who reach out to you? Is it missed calls, quoting, scheduling, or something else?
Missed calls.
Yeah, missed calls are tough. You never really know which one could have been a new customer or a revenue opportunity.
All right.
Yeah, missed calls are tough. You never really know which one could have been a new customer or a revenue opportunity. Roughly how much time does that take you each day? Even a ballpark is fine.
5 minutes.
Got it. Spending around 5 minutes each day on that definitely adds up over time. It's one of those invisible time drains that can quietly cost you leads and jobs. Our AI can handle a lot of those first replies and follow ups, so you stay responsive without being stuck in your inbox or on the phone. It can handle the first replies and follow ups automatically, so those delays don't turn into missed revenue, and you stay focused on real work. The easiest way to see exactly how this would fit into your business is a quick 15 to 20-minute demo. Ninja Tim will show you how it plugs into your workflow and answers your industry specific questions. Want me to set that up for you?
Sounds good.
Got it. Spending around 5 minutes each day on that definitely adds up over time. It's one of those invisible time drains that can quietly.
All right, I won't make you listen to that full repetition there, but I think you're getting the picture. And I think it's important for me to start off by saying, hey, you know what? Good job, Tim, for understanding a really great way to use the AI receptionist. And you're not the only person who has the problem of getting some of these blank pauses or repetitions. But the most important thing that you did was you understood, here's a great opportunity for me to take some work off of my plate and also make sure that when I'm talking with customers, they're really well qualified and they understand the value of what I'm trying to do. So I think that's a really important step. The next pieces are a little bit technical, but once you understand them, they're certainly not as complex as writing code or going in and figuring out how to connect all these independent systems. There's a lot of really practical things that you can do to get a better voice AI prompt and response. So let's start off with the first problem: awkward pauses. These are a really, really common problem. And there's a couple of reasons that awkward pauses happen with these sorts of real time voice AI systems. The first one that I'm going to cover is the fact that AI reads context really heavily. Remember, AI is kind of like this, um, mm, next word generator predictor. What it does is it looks at all of the things that came before it and then figures out, okay, what's the next thing that's going to happen? And think about this as a human. You're reading through this, ask about this, okay, great. Once they answer, reply with this paragraph only once. There's this nice big paragraph, awesome. But then as you get to the end, AI handles these replies instantly and consistently, so nothing slips through, and you free up your time for the actual work that drives your business forward. That kind of sounds like the end of a sentence, or the end of a paragraph, or the end of something. AI is really, really paying attention to, in a lot of its historical conversations, when it gets this type of response, that means that it's done talking or there's nothing else that needs to happen. So, despite the fact that we said that we want to continue to value, do not repeat this paragraph, this was a stronger signal for the AI. So, what we need to do instead is be really, 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 really clear about how we move forward from this, or leave the right sort of ending hook to move forward. Here's an example of how I did it in my fixed prompt. Afterwards, I said, no matter how they respond, you will move onward to step 4. And then at the start of step 4, I said, once you know how they stay on top of conversations. So we've added 2 hooks. We've added one sort of at the end of the talk, and one that says, once you know how to this one thing, you move on to the next piece. So you're providing multiple different places for the AI to understand where to go or what to do when something's finished. Okay. So, and just to be clear, this was all a prompt that we put together, or I should say, Ninja Tim put together to start, where he wanted to create a discovery call. And he said, hey, here's all the different steps that I want to go through. And as we got to the end of this step, AI thought, maybe I need to finish. So instead, we give a bit more context, telling AI when to go forward and what the starting trigger is for step 4. All right. Now, inside, again, of that prompt from Ninja Tim, there's some really nice signals of, hey, here is step 1, here's step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. AI, this is how I want you to follow through with the instructions of this discovery flow. But there are a few things that might make pauses more common. This horizontal rule, it's kind of like a big stopper for AI when it reads it. It thinks this is a whole new section. So when we have these horizontal rules, you should really be doing that only for these big breaks between ideas. And here we have 2 horizontal rules surrounding step 5. So it kind of breaks this. One other piece here is that more or less, this is all in sort of what I would call plain text, when actually AI reads Markdown really well to help it understand the importance of different phrases, different sections, different things like that. So instead of having this kind of format, I would suggest using Markdown to indicate we have a main sort of step in H2, and then a sub sort of step in H3. We have bold to make things very clear, like little headings. And we have these little carrots, angle brackets, that operate as quotes to help AI to understand when this is something they should directly say. One other thing that you'll notice is that I have a step 4 here and then this like little sub step, where previously we had a step 4 and a step 5. And the more that we're kind of chunking it out into these are separate ideas, the more likely AI is going to get stuck. So, format for success. The other thing that's really common that we see is AI sort of getting stuck in a loop. And we heard some examples of that in the call there as well, too. So I think the most common reason is not being super clear about when. This does a good job of explaining what to say and how to respond to specific points in a conversation. But it could be better on telling you, okay, when do I say about how much time would you say that takes every day? It doesn't give a great job of saying what's the starting point. So when you look here, this is what Tim had, and this is a definitely better job about when. It says step 4, and it tells you, okay, well, I guess then it's going to be after step 3. That makes sense. But remember that AI doesn't exactly have the best sort of memory. It looks at things a whole bunch at the same time. So wherever step 4 is, might not be super clear. Yeah, it's after step 3, but what exactly was step 3 again? Instead, in your prompt, be super clear about what the starting point for step 4 is. Once you know how they stay on top of conversations, you should find out how much time that takes them each day. So we are very clear. We've got 2 hooks there. Step 4, awesome. This is going to be after step 3. And then once you know how they stay on top of conversations. Perfect. Here's another common thing that leads to these loops. You see a main frustration here. Ask about this, okay. What's the most frustrating part? And then you have two responses. Okay, yeah, acknowledge, confirm. But what's going to happen if the AI here's a response that isn't missed calls, quoting, or scheduling? No matter what, it's going to say, hey, thanks, that makes sense. Or it might get confused and just kind of loop back. So instead, you want to make sure that you have all of the different possible response categories covered. If it's a main frustration is one of these listed ones, cool, do this. If they say something else or give a vague answer, here's how you follow up with it. The more that we can provide those examples of how to move past ambiguity, the better our AI is going to be able to perform. Now, that being said, if we constantly give AI really, really specific things to ask and say, then we're going to give lots of opportunity for things to not really make sense in context. Do those messages usually come through text, email, your website? Okay, those are the answers. But what if someone says, I'm not sure? The AI is not going to know, and it's been told that it really has to do one of these things. So instead of always, always, always giving really specific quotes that it has to say, try giving AI good, clear guidelines without really specific outcomes. After understanding their main frustration, ask the caller where the majority of their missed messages come from, and then give examples. AI is going to almost always use these examples, but by not having super, super specific script that it has to follow, you give a lot more flexibility for AI to reason its way into the right sort of answer. One last one that is really, really common, and this is something that's so, so, so tricky, is handling yes or no questions. The long and the short of it is that right now, voice AI is not super great at hearing things like yes, sure, okay, super, super consistently. So whenever we are making our conversations optimized for quick one-word answers, we're not doing a great job of setting AI up for success. And it's really common for when people think they're talking to a robot to just do the most simplest answer. We've kind of been trained that way. So instead, you should try and get your AI to ask questions that can't be just simple yes or no's. So when getting the phone number, say, hey, is the number we're calling from the best one to send a booking link to? Or do you have another number that you might prefer? This way, they have to say the existing booking link, or I should say the number I'm calling from, or no, I have another number. And those things are going to make it way, way clearer. Last one. Do you guys like spelling out your email address over the phone? Generally speaking, when I do this, it's a really frustrating process. And I can't be confident that it's going to work well. I think for a lot of use cases, you are going to get a lot of better use by trying to move some of this to something that happens post voice conversation and moving it to chat. So as an example, and I'll go back in a moment, when a new call activity has been created, you can use that as an opportunity to send an SMS message to get the booking done. And you can much more reliably count on the person calling to give the exact phone number, the exact email address, the way that it should be. So it's great to try and meet the customer wherever they're at. But if it's going to be kind of a frustrating experience for the caller, to spell out their long email address. Maybe consider how can we get that information in a more consistent, reliable way out of a text message. Let's move to listening to that improved prompt. One moment here, folks. All right. So this was my most recent call here.
Hey there. This is NinjaBot from Hidden Ninja Marketing. How can I help you today?
What do you guys do?
We do marketing for businesses, digital, online, you name it. If you're looking to work with Hidden Ninja, we do our best work when working with certain kinds of businesses. Unless you have any objections, I'm going to ask a few questions to see if we can help you. Let's start off with an easy one. Could you tell me your name?
Yeah, it's John.
Thank you. And what type of business do you run, John?
A glasses shop.
Thank you. So you're running a glasses shop. Got it. And what's the name of your business?
Specs by Ryan.
Thank you. So we've got your name, John, and your business type, a glasses shop, plus the business name, Specs by Ryan. Hidden Ninja specializes in helping businesses manage incoming communications. What frustrations do you have with staying on top of calls and messages? Missed calls, quotes, scheduling, or something else?
Not being able to answer when I'm busy helping a customer.
Got it. So missed calls are the main frustration. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for a glasses shop, especially when you're helping customers in person. Now, where do most of your missed messages come from? Is it social channels, email, or your website?
Social.
Got it. So a lot of missed messages from social channels. How do you usually keep up with those conversations? Do you check in throughout the day or go through them at the end of the day?
Kind of check in throughout the day, but I don't always remember.
Right. Sounds like you're doing your best to keep up, but that takes a lot of mental energy, and sometimes things slip through. Now, how much time do you think that takes you each day, roughly?
45 minutes maybe?
Understood. That adds up faster than most people realize. Whether you're checking constantly or just when you can, it still takes time, and time costs money. Even a few minutes here and there adds up to hours every week, and any missed or delayed replies can quietly chip away at your monthly revenue. AI handles those replies instantly and consistently, so nothing slips through and you free up your time for the actual work that drives your business forward. AI can take over that first response and follow up, so delays don't turn into missed opportunities, and you get more time back without adding staff. Based on everything you've shared, the next thing that helps most people is a quick 15 or 20-minute screen share with Ninja Tim. He'll walk you through what this would look like inside your business. Is the number you're calling from the best one to send a booking link to, or do you have another number you'd prefer?
This one works.
Thank you. You'll get an SMS with the booking link after this call. Now, do you have any other questions I can help with?
Where are you guys based?
Let me check on that for you. One moment, please.
All right. So as we can see, there was no looping, there was no awkward pauses, and that all came down to some really careful prompting. Now, I want to be super, super clear. All you want to do is just get an answer, like have someone to answer the phone, hear, what the problem was, and figure out if there's an appropriate booking time. It's super, super easy to just use the basic configured capability. There's capture leads voice, and that's really good at like 90, 80% of the time. I think that can handle the majority of needs of businesses. But if you want to get really specific and start working on something like having a more detailed discovery and qualification, then you need to take the time to go in and map out your steps, your questions, and think about each and every possible outcome, and start simple. One thing that you'll notice as well, I think this also is very true, but when we look at the idea of, hey, maybe making a booking directly on the call, absolutely possible, can be done, but it's going to be complex and it's more likely to break. So let's optimize for something that's going to be a good experience for the customer most of the time, and hook in a AI automation. By the way, I'll show that off there after the conversation. Thanks for your interest. Here's your link to book an AI demo. And it has a little bit of context there. I have that automation created here, and I'm going to make this an automation template for everyone as an example to use. So my quick tips, you can see them there already, but let's go one by one. Use Markdown and headings. Really understand that those Markdown and headings that you're using, because the way that you format that makes it easier for AI to understand how to go through the conversation. Leave lots of when and what's next cues. So at the start of a step, tell when, and at the end of a step, say what's next. And by putting those two, the when and what's next, at the start and the end of each step, you're going to end up with really, really good cues for the AI to know what to say. I think this is a common problem, but you should have more examples of specific scenarios, but less specific scripts. So if this happens, here's some ways of solving it. If this other thing happens, there's this way of solving it. Instead of saying, always say this thing exactly, always say this thing exactly. When someone says this, say this thing exactly. Cover more scenarios and give AI a little bit of flexibility on the way to say things. And that's going to stop it from getting confused and stuck in loops. And then last is move beyond yes or no answers. They're often not helpful for the AI, and they're also probably not that useful for the information that you're trying to gather, either for yourself as an agency or for the business. So see how you can structure your questions so that you end up with options to choose. Is it this or is it that? And you'll end up with way better conversations as opposed to just kind of being an answering machine. Well, we're right at time. So if anyone does need to leave, you're more than welcome to watch our replay, which will be available on YouTube. But I'm going to stick around and answer a few questions, in particular, some that came in through the Q&A. Is there an AI builder available for the AI agents? It can create pages, images, custom code just on a prompt. That'd be really helpful. And great question. I will often tell people that what you should do is you should use your AI chatbot of choice to help you build the prompting for these. But I will say that it's not always the best. I believe, from what I understand, Ninja Tim used AI to help answer or put some of these call flows in. But despite AI kind of writing for itself, it didn't really understand the best way to set up some of these things. This sort of ASCII art idea, these headings, they aren't getting the results that we wanted. So you can start with using your AI LLM of choice to help you generate those prompts. But I think once you start that out, it's really important to think about how to make that fit into Markdown just a little bit better. One other sort of comment there is that Vendasta understands that this is something that people want, so we'll explore that a little bit more in the future for sure. Share the actual call. Can that be done live, or do you have to have a recorded demo call? So I didn't do a call on through my computer because I've done this before, and the webinar platform that I'm working with, it just doesn't handle it super well. If you're using something like Google Meet or Zoom, then it's not too hard to go, in the middle of a call. You can actually dial in numbers for people, right? So you can invite someone to join a call and uh, try to invite that number, for example. And it works okay. I think that's a really good option when you're having those one-to-one calls. If at all possible, I think always, just to ask the customer to dial it, because that's the best. Great question, Tim. And thanks again. Markdown flavors. Um, no, no. Um, there's some really basic markdown flavoring, which is uh, um, number signs for headings, asterisks around words for bolding, using dashes or numbers for lists. Those are all good. They all work. I think you can often ask. This is one spot where actually asking ChatGPT would be good. Say use general markdown formatting, and it will do a good job. But yeah, I think there's no specific flavor that I've understood yet. There is this idea of an agents.md. If you want to do a little bit of research on agents.md, you'll see that this is fast becoming a standard, and that might be something that is more codified. But right now, there's lots of markdown language, and any flavor should get you there. Mm. Julio, I assume it's Julio. Um, right now we're in business app. Great question. And Ninja Tim decided to have his receptionist set up inside of business app. And inside of business app, you have not only the chat and the voice receptionist, but you can work with the reputation specialist, the content creator. These are all showing inside of the business app, where in Partner Center, you'll just see these two to start. But we'll always be adding more AI employees and making it so that you can have more employees in different spots in the coming weeks. Great question. Able to send a document with these prompts so we can customize for each individual client. I don't know what to tell you, folks. Yes, I can. And then your answer is going to be stilted, and it's going to be different, because as you make those customizations are really important. They are really important for how you get the different responses and answers. So if you want to have a slightly different discovery process, then you're going to have a different prompt. So I will say that oops, wrong receptionist there. I'll take a look at our attendees list, and I will send off my version of this prompt, and you can have a look at it. But know that you'll really, really need to pay attention to the ideas behind the headings, how things are structured, and making sure that you have lots of those when and after steps. I have one idea around how I could maybe help with this in a little bit greater depth. But one thing I do also want to highlight is that if you head to our docs.businessapp.io or docs.vendasta.com, we also have a lot of information about configuring capabilities, um, how to add different information, the best practices, how to create custom capabilities. And there's even this really
In
great
this
video.
video, we will introduce you to AI capabilities.
So I encourage you to use those resources as well too. The template is going to be a great place to see an example of what works, but just kind of editing it is probably not going to get you the result that you want. I appreciate that question so much, though. Thank you for asking. I think that about covers it. Thank you for the really great questions, everyone. I will make sure that we get this out to you folks in an email after the fact. And keep your eyes open. I mentioned there's going to be an automation template added to show how to send an SMS message automatically. This is really, really an exciting experimental place to be working. And I'm so glad that you're all here willing to learn and experiment with us as well too. I have another build mode session coming in 2 weeks. It's going to be the last one of the year. And we're going to keep on diving into more on AI employees and working with AI operations. So thanks so much, and see you all when we see you next time.